the theme that I'm going for is just like making more stuff that resonate with the youth and just like can last you a long time as well. My name is Moses. I go by Killimo. I'm the creative director of Denver Design Incubator and the designer of Killionaire. So fashion inspires me. Basically, I get to design and create pieces that I like for my style and everything like that. So it's just like I like being the designer of my own pieces and everything like that, putting stuff together and everything like one-of-one pieces of something that nobody has. So in that sense, you know, that's how I get inspired with fashion. What's attractive about it is most definitely like cutting up the pieces and then putting it together like a little puzzle and everything like that. It's most definitely like a challenge that I like going through. So it's like at first, you know, you're cutting these pieces up and you don't know what you're about to make, and then when you start sitting down on the sewing machine or when you're piecing it out on the table and everything like that, and it's like, oh, I can make a denim, I can make jeans out of these, or I can make a bag out of this leftover material. So it's just like small stuff about it that just attracts my attention every time that I'm designing. So that's what I like about designing, most definitely. Okay, so my backstory is, so I moved here from South Africa in 2016. In 2016, I lived in Idaho from 2016 to 2017, and I graduated high school out there. So while I was going to high school, while I was going to school out there and everything like that, I couldn't afford to buy new jeans every new semester or like every month or something like that. So what I would do is I'll go to Urban Outfitters, I'll buy a pair of jeans, and then at first I would wear it plain with not designing it, just like the way how I bought it is how I would wear it. And then afterwards, after a while, I would say like give it 1 month. And then afterwards, I would just like distress it, bleach it, and then add it. Back then, I wasn't really like designing, but that's some sort of like designing, because I'm like bleaching it, I'm like deconstructing it and turning it into a different piece. So it's like, I just didn't want to be known as the guy who's wearing the same jeans. You know that little meme where it's like, guys only have 5 jeans and shit like that. So I didn't want to be that dude, be known for having 1 jeans or something like that. So yeah, for surely, like I got inspired. I would say as a kid, I've just always been with my parents. My parents are like big like tripsters or whatever. Like my pops is strict into like wearing suits and like looking all formal and stuff. It's just like something that I inherited from my parents type thing. It's like, okay, they love wearing like formal, looking good and everything like that, but I added my own street style into it. So it's like I wanted to look good, but I didn't want to like rock formal clothing. So it's like I did have new clothes every now and then, but it's like my parents are buying me more of the formal clothing, and I want more of like denim, like the latest stuff and everything like that. So I was like, I can't afford it, so I might as well just turn it into my own type of design. So it wasn't really like I was really worried about people's conception of what they would think about me or anything like that. I really just enjoy dressing up. And coming from a school like in South Africa, we wear uniforms. So it's like we wear uniforms every day. And then moving from South Africa to America was like a big culture shock, because it's like, ah, shit, I get to wear like home clothing every day. Like, and then at first, you know, it's like, oh, I get to wear home clothing every day. This is fire. And then afterwards, you start running out outfits and stuff. And like, that's how it ends up to you, like start designing your own stuff and things. Yeah. That's the experience that I took from my parents. It's like when they look at you crazy before leaving the house, you got this outfit that you think is so fire, and then your parents is looking at you like, what the fuck is my child wearing right now? And I was just like, all right, if I don't get that look from my parents, that means my outfit is not fire. Because like, if my parents is like looking at me like weirdly, like, what the fuck is he wearing? That means my outfit is fire. Like, everybody at school is about to dap me up. But if my parents looking at me like, it's just normal. And they hated the fact that I was bleaching brand new clothing that they just bought me, and I'm bleaching that shit, and they're looking at me like, bro, you're ruining these brand new jeans that I just got you. So they hated that, but I was just hard-headed. Like, if I listened to them, I wouldn't be designing right now. So I'm just a hard-headed fellow. Like, since South Africa, I always wanted to be a model or actor or something like that. But then I lived in Idaho, and it was like a small state, so there wasn't so much modeling opportunities like that. If there was modeling opportunities, you would have to pay for it or some shit like that. And I'm like, hell no. I'm like 16, 17, turning 17 or something like that. I did have some gigs where I skipped school and catch a bus and went all the way downtown in Idaho to like fucking for this commercial that they had going. So I got paid like $300 that day, and I was so excited for that because I wasn't really like, the money was good, okay, but I was more excited because I was like, I'm about to be in this commercial. So I'm like looking on the internet every time, like looking up, and then the commercial finally dropped. And I wasn't in the fucking commercial, so I was just like, man, no, I'm not really an actor. I can't even go back to like show people I was in this commercial or anything. So, but it was good though. Like, just the whole experience of like acting and just like seeing the directors telling people like what to do, and hey, you guys start racing, because it was like for this racing campaign or something like that. So yeah. I moved to Colorado, so straight after I graduated high school in Idaho. We moved to Colorado in like, I would say May 2017. We lived in Colorado, and then I was trying to get back into the modeling, and I'm just like, all right, maybe over here I'll get more opportunities to model. Nope, same thing. You got to pay to model. You got to know someone, basically. You got to pay to model, and I'm like, man, fuck this. I'm not gonna pay nobody. I'm gonna start like doing personal photo shoots. So I started meeting like a lot of local photographers out here and everything like that. Yeah, my first photo shoot was like with this local photographer. I don't even think he shoots anymore, but his name is like Miguel, something like that. He did a couple shots for me, and then from then onwards, it took a whole year for me to start my brand. So October 2018 was when I started Killionaire. I was just like, all right, I can set this up myself. I know photographers now. I know who to reach out to, and we can do a little lookbook, or I can model my own stuff. So for me, it was more for say I was like going for like modeling my own stuff. But then how it really came about for me to start my brand was I had two friends that I worked with at the customer service job, Nahom and Mackie Shea. He goes by James, light skin James. I made these two hoodies. It was like two hoodies that I made, and it was light pink, light blue. When I started off, I was just using transfer paper, and I was making the hoodies on Gildan hoodies, basically on some V-Loan shit. Gildan hoodies with transfer paper. And then my bros was like, yo, that's hard. I want one. I'm like, all right, I can put your name on it too, because it's like I'm just printing these transfer papers so I can easily iron it on and everything like that. So then I ironed it onto a hoodie and everything like that, and then I gave it to the bros, and then they wanted to pay me for it. And the whole time I was like, nah, just take it for free. But they were persistent on paying me for it. And ever since then, it's just been up from then, because it's like I took that $25 payment from both of them. I was like, oh, I can actually turn this into something. So that's how it really came about. That was like the first motivation, like the first drive that pushed me to actually start it. I had the name when I did those hoodies.
How did you come up with the name?
I came up with the name, so basically when I was working my 9 to 5, it was on my birthday. So that's why my brand anniversary falls on my birthday. I was working that day on my birthday, and I'm just like, I don't want to be doing this shit. I want to be known for something. I don't want to die and there's nothing left behind, you know? It came about, I was just Googling stuff. Like, I was Googling so much shit. It was going to be like, I wanted to do something controversial so it gains people's attention. So it was going to be like 3Ks, like on some KKK. It was like going to be called something cool club or something like that. And then I just kept on playing. Then I seen this one word which said millionaire. Like millionaire, but with an N. And it said millionaire, and that's basically somebody who's like, doesn't have motivation to make money or something like that. And I just had this thing with the K's because my last name is Kisali, so it's with a K as well. And I like the whole cursive thing with a K. So I was like, okay, let me try Googling this. And then I put the K in front of the N, so it was Killionaire. And I tried Googling it real quick. So when I first started, it was Killionaire Club. So it was 2 Ks. So it was like, yeah, I cut off the last K because I was like, that's going to be a little bit too controversial. And plus, I don't know what the other K would have stand for anyways. So then I cut off the last K, and then it was Killionaire Club for the longest. One of my bros told me that it kind of sounds like Billionaire Boys Club. So I was just like, nah, I don't want to be compared to anybody, or I don't want like them thinking that's the inspiration of the brand or anything like that. And, you know, shout out to Billionaire Boys Club. They make some hard shit, but I just wanted to be original type shit, you know, especially in the fashion world. So I took the club off. It was like 5 months into my branding and everything. Then I took the club off and I just went with Killionaire Club, with Killionaire by itself, actually. So that was October 2018. But when I turned it to Killionaire by itself is when I did my first official lookbook photo shoot. The first lookbook I did was February 2019, which was a mansion photo shoot. It first started off with just like 10 models. I just invited 10 models. I was still new out here too, so I don't know a lot of faces. I don't know a lot of people or anything like that. The 10 models that I reached out to them through Instagram. Most of the people that I invited, it was only 10 models, but they pulled up with like +1s. And then the photographers, I only had like 2 photographers, but then the photographers had like a photographer group. So they invited all the photographers in that group. So I would say at least like 5 to 7 photographers and 20 models. I only invited 10 models. It was 20 models. So I didn't even have enough hoodies to give out anymore as well. That mansion photo shoot was really what light bulbs in my head, like all these people's here fucking with my shit, and just like off like stuff that I did with transfer paper on Gildan hoodies. So that's how it started with the light switch in my head, and then I just started boosting it out there with models and everything. And then afterwards I did my first runway October 2019, where I was thinking of my drop as like an album drop and everything like that. So I did the fashion runway first, which was October 1st or October 2nd, and then right after that, because that was like a free entry runway, like it was an invite only, but it was free for you to come in. And it was at the studio in Centennial and whatever. And then after that, everybody was hitting me up like, hey bro, I didn't get no invite, da 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 da. I'm like, don't worry. I got a pop-up shop coming up on October 16th, which was the Favor by Rome. And that one, it was $5 because everybody missed out on the first one. So now they eager to see like the pop-up shop that I'm going to do on the October 16th. So I was just like, you know, that was the smartest strategic move I've made, because I made my money back from the first loss at the first studio. So it was just very smart. Mission statement as of now, or even from the beginning, because just like how I'm saying, like I keep on pointing out the fact that I was using Gildan hoodies, It's because like you're turning nothing into something. People look down on Gildan hoodies and stuff like that, and my point with that was like, this was an art piece for me. I just wanted to get started with my brand, so it didn't matter where I got started with my brand. It was like starting from nothing, and I know within time I was gonna get better and better and better and just upgrade. So my ethos for sure is just like, right now it changes every year, I'm not gonna lie. Right now my ethos for sure is like, I'm focused on sustainability and like recreating pieces and everything like that, and then creating luxurious pieces that will last you a long time. So I try to mix the denim pieces, upcycling and everything, with like the varsities, which is like more of like a luxurious piece that will last you a very long time. Like that's something that will be vintage like for years to come. The people who bought it will give it to the kids and everything like that. You know, I made some Hello Kitty jackets. Lord knows how many people love Hello Kitty and everything, and pass it down to their daughters or anything like that. So the theme that I'm going for is just like making more stuff that resonate with the youth and just like can last you a long time as well. I know, I feel like you're already expecting it. Virgil Abloh, of course. Who Decides War. I like Kid Super. He got some hard shit. I don't think this is a brand, but I like Blasi. He's like a graphic designer in LA. He does No Jumper. I think the name of the brand is Nothing Personal. Number 5. Who's taking the lucky number 5 spot? I like Woman Worldwide. I ain't gonna lie. I fuck with Woman Worldwide. Yeah. Yeah. He's going hard. Like, that was his first time showcasing at Denver Fashion Week, and I'm just like, for first time, like, showcasing that type of design, it really showcased like streetwear. Like when you talk streetwear, that's what I'm trying to see, and that it really showcased it in a different way. So I don't know, maybe for me, I fucked with this collection heavy, so it stood out for me, and yeah, that's why it's on my list right now. Can I have like a a number 6?
Runner up, yeah.
Runner up. I'll put Woman Worldwide, runner up, and then I'll put the number 5 spot, Raf Simons. Because Raf Simons is just like, yeah, it's just Raf Simons. His shows is so good. Who Decides War? His story just hits home. It's like it connects with me. Like, he does sustainability as well with all the fashion and everything like that. So it just hits home with some of these designers that I mentioned, and like I'm actually like going back and watching like these stories of how they came up and like how they started. Yes, most of these designers didn't even go to school for it. Raf Simons, Raf Simons, basically his backstory is, I think he was studying something totally different, which was not fashion, and basically he met one of these instructors who's like a fashion designer and everything like that. Basically Raf Simons was kind of depressed because of he was depressed because he felt like he chose the wrong career path after going to one fashion show, and he met like this fashion designer over there, and the fashion designer was like, you don't need no fashion school to start your brand or anything like that. And that's basically how Raf Simons started his stuff. It was just like that. So okay, so yeah, 2020 was crazy. It was really crazy because back then I wasn't really sewing as much. I was more of like transfer paper guy, vinyl, just getting hoodies and sweatpants from a manufacturer down in somewhere in Denver. But then the place shut down for a little bit while COVID was going on and everything like that. And I was just hoping like it's gonna open up, and it didn't open up. And at that time I had a studio as well. I had a different studio in 2020, and we just stopped going to the studio because we couldn't pay up for the rent in that place. It was just like, you know, we're not getting no customers that's gonna come in, you know, it's COVID and everything, restrictions and everything like that. So then we closed that place down. This was more of the time when I started learning how to sew, luckily. It was a blessing in disguise because, you know, I learned how to sew, and that year I just took the time off. Just like I wasn't making I didn't drop anything. I was more known for throwing the shows and the events and everything, like the pop-up shops and everything like that. So it was missing with me, because I'm like, damn, I can't do no pop-up shops anymore. I can't do like shows, anything anymore. So I just took the time to like actually learn how to sew and, you know, make designs and everything like that. Once I learned how to sew, it was really up from there, because then once pandemic was over, 2021 came through. Haley, the producer of Denver Fashion Week, reached out to me and was like, do you want to be a part of Denver Fashion Week? Do you want to showcase your collection and everything like that? I'm like, hell yeah. We just came through from the pandemic. Yes, put me on the list, because I'm ready. Like, I felt like I was ready to showcase a couple pieces, and, you know, it came together real smooth. So 2021 was like the first year that I showcased independently. All the other years I've showcased under Overseer Productions, one of my bros. He's the first one who's done Denver Fashion Week back in 2019. Yeah, 2019. So basically, I mentored Overseer. Like, he basically came over to my house one day. He came to the mansion photo shoot. That's how I met him, actually. I met him at the mansion photo shoot back in 2019, and he was like, bro, I want to learn from you, everything like that. And me, normally, I just feel like people talk a lot. So I'm just like, yeah, this person's not going to come through, whatever. But then he was persistent. He came through to my house, and then he was looking at the machines I have and everything. And I'm like, yeah, buy this machine, buy this heat press. And then from then onwards, he bought the same machines within like 2 days or 3 days. And I'm like, what? So we've just been locked in ever since, because it's just like, if somebody actually listened to the advice that I give them based on like how to start their brand, because I'm not hating on nobody. Like, for me, it's like I want to see everybody win. I've always been genuine with each designer, so it's not like a competition or anything. So he got invited first to Denver Fashion Week after starting his brand, because he had a connection somewhere or somehow, and then he invited me to be backstage with him and assist him, and we've just been going up ever since. And I just got to meet a lot of people through that way. Yeah. So we in the hidden gem, Denver Design Incubator. Not a lot of people know about this place. It's really like the low-key spot. It's basically an incubator for designers that can come through and, like, you know, either get inspired to start their brand, either design as a hobby, or, you know, just come through and yeah. So yeah, you could either start your brand, you know, and we have education as well over here. So it's like you can take classes on learning how to sew. I'm the studio manager, and I run this beautiful place. They got me as studio manager back in 2022, so last year, February 2022. They basically, I started off as a volunteer. Most of the people that moved up to be a manager started off as a volunteer, and I wasn't even a volunteer for too long. I was a volunteer for like 2 months. But the thing is, I came here like every day, so I knew the ins and outs and everything like that. So when the studio manager position opened up, I was like, pick me, I want to do it. But then there was a different person who became studio manager, and they were here for like 2 days, and then they quit. And then they considered me. They were like, okay, send through your resume, send through everything. I'm like, say less, send that through. And then they were like, all right, you fit the position. I can see you can help us with the marketing. You can help us with the Instagram, throw shows and everything like that. Basically bring this place back to life, because it was going down the hill after COVID, and then the manager quit. The original manager who was here quit after COVID. So then it was just like going down the hill, and they needed somebody who could bring it back to life, and that's where they got me. So what goes on in this place is, so we have how to sew classes, and then we have pattern making classes taught by Kitty. The designers I picked out these designers. I really wanted to work with like designers that I relate with, or like designers that I can see that have potential in the fashion world, basically. I have Azura in here. I have Undone Denim, Nick. I have Gus. I have Jay Jordan. I have Denver Fox. That's Brandon. I have James Powell, Goulash, Big Scoot. I have Natalia in here, the Natalia Experience.
Working together, helping each other out. Yeah?
Basically, in some way, we do help each other. I would say it's not even helping each other like on designing or anything. It's more like when you see a designer in here actually doing the thing, like designing and so on, you come in here and you just get motivated. You're like, okay, he's designing a piece and he's getting done with his piece. Let me get on this too. But yeah, we do have helping hands in here as well. Azure is like the genius in here who like knows how to fix any sewing machine up in this bitch. So it's like, thank God for having her on our side over here. You know, Gus comes through with the vibes. Nick comes through with the vibes. Nate is always on 10. Yeah, so it's a really nice spot where it's like a nice creative spot where we just have like a lot of personalities in here, but then at the same time it's just like when it's time for work, it's time for work, and we try to keep it going for like other members who come in. So it's like if we have a new member who wants to learn how to sew and everything like that, or wants to book out the day pass, basically our intention is just to keep the spot open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So that's why I have all these different designers. Then they have the perk of like designing in the studio and like using the studio for free and everything like that. So yeah. Okay, so my goals for Killionaire in 2023 would be most definitely knocking out the independent show, doing one of the biggest independent shows, but I at least want to have 100 people in there, you know, a nice 100 people with 30 models. That's one of my goals. Time frame would be May, June. So yeah, one of those dates that I'm still looking at right now. For now, I feel like I've reached most of my goals because like every time I drop a new collection, I'm selling out. So it's not like I'm really tripping on anything. My biggest goal for say would really be me being consistent. Consistency is what is my main focus this year, because I have the audience, I have the clients, but then the thing is I just disappear every now and then, and I just won't drop or anything like that, and that fucks up my clients, because it fucks up the clientele. Like, they're not waiting for you, they're gonna go to the next designer. I'm not big as these other name brands or anything like that, so it's like if you're not dropping consistently and everything like that, it's like, hey, we forgot about you. So I'm just trying to stay consistent. I mean, I do have day one supporters who's always been there and just always supporting, but yeah, being consistent, being disciplined with my brand, actually finishing up designs before the actual runway, and doing lookbooks. So yeah, I'm planning on dropping once a month. So that's my biggest goal for the year. If you've been wanting to learn how to sew, come and visit Denver Design Incubator, the hidden gem in Colorado. We teach people how to sew from scratch. We teach people how to pattern make. And you know, if you're trying to get inspired and to start your brand and everything like that, this is a studio that you should be visiting, because we have all the upcoming designers and all sustainable pieces. So that's the message. That's it. Denver Design Incubator. Go and visit us. DenverDesignIncubator.com.